What is a dark secret that you have? Believe I Diego A? I'm something of a bear shitter myself. Edit. How did 8K people see my dumbass comment and decide to upvote it? I lose faith in humanity every day. When I was a small child, my mother's friend Amy was babysitting. Amy had a son, and for whatever reason he broke one of his brand new toys while I was there. When his mother found out, he blamed me and she believed him. She let all the kids go outside in the pool while I had to stay inside and do the dishes. Well, I wasn't washing them the way she wanted, so she grabbed the back of my neck and shoved my face into the hot soapy water and smacked my face. Later that night I had to shower over her house, so I pissed in her mouthwash and hair conditioner while I was in the bathroom. Still makes me smile thinking of that bitch gargling my little boy piss. My maternal grandmother, who recently died, murdered at least one of her husbands for his money, and possibly more, because she had several who died under mysterious circumstances. She was never convicted, but the dude died from rare earth metal poisoning that developed from years of eating tainted food. She cooked every single one of his meals during that period of time. Notably, she did not get poisoned herself. Distant cousin on my husband's side, widowed 5 times. Each one died in a situation she could never have been responsible for: offshore oil platform explosion, industrial accident at a refinery, rental car accident 4 states away, fall from a construction site, heart attack from long existing issues before they ever married. We asked her if she was ever going to marry again. The best thing I can do for the male population is not to. Ever. Edit. Guys, I am shocked with the amount of upvotes. I wanted to add to the conversation with this family history and couldn't believe how it generated so much commentary. I've been on Reddit only a few years and have never had a random comment with this many upvotes. Wow. She was cursed. We actually did wonder, except she was the sweetest, most kind person you would want to meet. No one would drive with her though. Smile, she passed away some years ago. Sounds like she was attracted to men in high risk and industrial jobs. I don't think she was cursed, she just liked hard-working blue-collar dudes. That's what I was thinking. The men she preferred were the type of guys working high-risk jobs. Surprised she didn't marry and get widowed by a crab fisherman. Went to my girlfriend, now wife's parents' house for Thanksgiving. She started introducing her family and I instantly recognized her sister as a long-term sex buddy from college that stopped after having to terminate an accidental pregnancy. First moment we were able to sidebar, we decided it was best to say nothing, and for nearly 15 years now we haven't. I grew up in Maryland. When I was 16, me and my friends were driving home from a party. All of us were intoxicated, so we were on a back road trying to lay low. Suddenly we came across an overturned Jeep and immediately pulled over. Completely freaking out, the driver was crushed. But the passenger was still alive. He couldn't talk or anything and was struggling to breathe. My one friend pulled him from the vehicle and then he just stopped breathing. He died right in front of us. At that point, we were all freaking the duck out, debating whether to call the cops or even do anything because, again, we were all teenagers, nobody wanted to get a DUI that night. So we just went home. And as soon as we got back, my one friend took the fall and told the police what happened, etc. Here's the worst part. The 2 people in the Jeep were the parents of some girl in my class, and I thought about that night for the rest of high school, so many things that could have been done differently. My son was most likely conceived in a Walmart family's bathroom, while me and his mom were both employed there. It's called family bathroom for a reason. I told my wife that I dropped the Nutella and it smashed, so I had to throw it out. Truth is, I ate it all out of the jar. That's as dark as it gets. Using my throwaway. I used to work at an investment bank. However, to get the job I had to do a variety of assessments, which among others included an Excel financial modeling test. Now I'm quite experienced with Excel, have built lots of complex financial models, but what this task involved was to make some corrections to a very poorly built financial model, not intentionally bad, just whoever did it didn't know their stuff well. They leave me in a room with a laptop to complete this task. I open up the spreadsheet and have very little idea where to start. This is just making no sense. As I'm scanning through the tabs desperately trying to find things I'm able to do, I notice something saved on the desktop. Some previous candidate's attempt was saved there. Well, I opened it up and started copying what that guy had done and added a few tweaks of my own. I ended up getting the job. I did the same thing. I went for an entry-level accounting job at 3 Mobile. They made all the candidates sit at desktops and do loads of Excel macros and calculations off a worksheet. First thing I did was just restore the last 5 worksheets, autosave was on, and copy the lot. If it made sense and I knew was correct, I went into my sheet. I didn't count on them having monitoring software that basically recorded everything you did to show how you worked it out. I did not get the job. What a twist. I left the army 3 months before my draft was finished, and if I go back to my country of origin I might get arrested. You from Iran? Haran edit, this joke was stupid and you should all feel ashamed. Have a fantastic Christmas. I kick ice cubes under the fridge when I accidentally drop them on the floor. Water under the fridge. Like a fridge over troubled water. When I was about 13 I caught my mother having sex with her brother. Haven't told anyone in the last 9 years so as to not mess my family up. Joffrey? Thankfully I look a lot like my father, who isn't related to my mom. I have been the black sheep of my family my entire life, no matter what I do. It isn't funny to me, it is downright abusive. For the past couple years I've been secretly taking courses, saving money, and tying up loose ends. I have an entire escape plan set up, with multiple contingency plans if it doesn't work the way I want it to. Within the next couple months I am buying a one-way plane ticket, throwing my cell phone away, starting a brand new life, and disappearing from theirs forever. They have zero idea. They will cry and wonder why. I will not, and know exactly why. I'm excited. Edit, thank you for all the support, and the sound advice, some things I didn't think of. Thank you to the people who reached out to a stranger with open arms offering rooms and food. I will be okay. Don't worry about me. I am tough. I still have a faint glimmer of hope in my soul, and a beam of light for all of you. It took me a long time to find the courage to go, and even more courage to leave the past behind. But I found it. I can go, and find it's nothing but stone. But I found it nonetheless. Wish me luck on this long wandering journey. Hi, read on the Police Suit group on Reddit about someone doing a project about disappearing, and a top suggestion was, we look for missing people out of concern for their welfare. If you really wanted to disappear completely, it would be a good first step to go to the police and say I want to start a new life. I want to leave everything and everyone I know behind. I am an adult, of sound mind, and I'm making this decision with full mental capacity. If I am reported missing, it's because I am doing this without warning and do not want anyone to know where I'm going. It's not a crime to disappear. If we have no concerns for your welfare and you haven't committed a crime, we don't have any reason to look for you. That makes sense, so they don't waste resources looking for the person, but what happens if someone does report them missing? Do they tell them, they came in here and told us not to look for them? If not, the family would expect a search investigation, so then what? Do they tell them, they came in here and told us not to look for them? If not, the family would expect a search investigation, so then what? If you told the police you don't want anyone knowing where you went, yeah, they'd tell anyone inquiring after you that. Plus, so they're not a missing person and we can't investigate. Have a nice day. Depending on the police service, but in this area, the police will confirm the person is alive and well, not missing, but no longer wants to be contacted. That's it, that's all. I was raped by a priest when I was 12 and blamed my mother for it for a long time. She'd usually pick me up after Mass, and that day she finished work early, saw the Mass was still ongoing and went home. She still doesn't know. Please report this to authorities. That person needs to be in prison. He's long dead now, thankfully. I just hope I was the only one. I did, in fact, not buy WinRAR after the free trial ended. My best friend from childhood came over to my college dorm to hang out one night. He bought coke and pills from other guys living on my hall for a party he was going to, and honestly I was impressed with him for being so well versed in the buying of drugs and charismatic with my dorm mates. Before he left he told me not to tell his mother what he was doing but to tell her he loved her if he died, and I thought something was wrong, but I let him go because we had plans for the next day and I figured he had just developed a dark sense of humor in the time since we'd last seen each other. In retrospect, had shown all of the signals, but I refused to see them, so I let him drive away. He didn't make it. He crashed his car many hours later that night, with no seatbelt, probably high. His mother asked me what happened. I didn't tell her anything because I wanted her to think it was an innocent accident. I didn't want her to know what he got into. I'm still keeping his secret. And never do. People in trauma often try to find someone to blame. Being the only son, I had to stay with my dad while he was terminally sick of cancer. I was 19 that time. 6 doses of chemo couldn't reduce the cancer enough to operate on him. I stayed with him for each visit to hospital. Used to spend endless nights on the hospital benches. Often used to sleep there. When he died, my family blamed me. Said I didn't properly took care of him. One member said he didn't have cancer and was treated wrongly. I just wanted to kill myself. Had to think it's somehow my fault. I loved him and wanted him to live. Get well. It's still like a deep scar when I think of that time. Edit. Thank you, kind people of Reddit. Thank you for your support. I idealized my dad, he had a big influence on me. His loss was devastating. I was graduating and I never twice thought of missing my classes or exams. Couldn't think straight when he died, and such remarks added guilt which brought to the brink. Thought perhaps I could do more and I didn't. I often think of that time. It's true that there is a dawn after every dark night. Person heals but the hole remains there.